Okay guys, here's a real quick version of our lab safety notes. If you are in class, then you do not need to watch this. However, if you're out of class, you need to see this for our lab safety portion. So this is our lab safety video, or we could have the in-class lab safety notes also. Please make sure you follow my instructions at all times. If you do that, for the most part, everything will be safe. There is a lab safety sheet that is posted on our website. You are responsible for reviewing the material on that sheet and knowing those 20 different rules or instructions for lab safety. One of our key things is safety goggles must be worn at all times during a chemical lab. If you do not have your safety goggles on during a lab time, I will give you a 0 for the lab and have you and your partner both stop doing the lab for the day and give you guys both 0s. So please make sure that you keep your goggles on, and also make sure you keep your lab partner safe and force them to keep their goggles on. If you have any questions about lab safety, please ask me. I'll always answer any question you have about safety. There is really no unintelligent question about lab safety. No horseplay in lab. I believe we're mature enough to handle the different labs we do. A lot of them are pretty fun, but we need to make sure that we're focusing on the lab and not horsing around too much in the back. No unauthorized experiments in the lab. If there is something that you'd like to try that is not part of our standard procedure for the day, please ask me. If it's safe and cost effective, I'll let you try it. But please involve me first before you do anything that's not an authorized experiment. No eating or drinking in the lab. When you're working with chemicals, there's always cross-contamination possibilities, that kind of stuff. So all food, all drink needs to stay out of the lab area. I do allow water bottles to be in the lecture part of the room during lecture days for allowing people to drink water, that kind of stuff, when we're not in the lab part, but there's never any food in my room throughout any day. And please know what to do in case of an emergency. Biggest things are, if we have an emergency, how do you get help and how do you care for the person that may be injured? And typically I'll be the person in charge of that, but if there is a case where I am unable to, or I'm the injured person, you might need to step up and do that. So step number 1 is very simple. Go to the phone, dial 911. The phone is in the front of the room, and if you dial 911, it'll take you right to an operator who will get help here as fast as possible. Also, right next to the phone is a list of important phone numbers, including the school nurse and the attendance office and administrative office. Please call those numbers also to get the administrative and the school nurse up to the room as soon as we can if there is an emergency. And then finally, once you've made those phone calls, go across the room and get the teacher who is next door to us in room 285, who is probably Mr. Calmy, and have him come in and help out with the scenario if I'm not able to directly respond to the emergency we have in the room. We need to know the location of these 4 items. The fire extinguishers are in the front of the room and in the back of the room by the exits. We will use these only if we need to keep us safe. Otherwise, we leave the room, we exit if there's a fire, and we let the people who are trained take care of the fires, that kind of stuff. The fire blanket is used in case we do have a piece of clothing or something else catch on fire. We can use the fire blanket to smother that. This is a better way to put out fires if they're small than to pull out the extinguishers. The eye wash station is in back. If you do get something in your eye during lab, which you shouldn't because you have your goggles on, but if you do, go directly to the eye wash station, turn it on by pushing the lever forward, and rinse your eyes out immediately. I will have your lab partner come get me, and then I will assist you after the fact. But don't wait, just go straight there and wash out your eyes if you need to. And that's in the back of the room, in the dead center of our lab. You can see it. It's a big yellow station that says eye wash station on it. The safety shower is right above the eye wash station. So if you need to use the safety shower, it's directly in the same location as the eye wash station. We really don't have enough chemical being used in our lab ever to have it to necessitate the safety shower. However, it is a standard piece of equipment in our labs. So my expectation is that you will never need this as long as you are following the safety protocols and you are using the right stuff in our room. So this really is only for if you have large amounts of chemical that get spilled across the core of your body, which you really should never have that much chemicals in your hand. There are 20 different things in the room that are kind of important in terms of knowing where they're located and kind of what they do. So we're going to walk through each one relatively quickly here because we've talked about some of those in class and some of them are pretty obvious. We obviously have our entrances and our emergency exits. There's 3 doors to the room, so any one of those act as an exit room in case you need to exit the room quickly. We do have a chemical storage room behind that attaches to our room. Please don't go in there unless I ask you to come in to help me carry equipment out of that room. We've talked about the fire extinguishers, one in the front of the room and the back of the room. The fire blanket we've talked about. The safety shower and eye wash stations we've also already mentioned. Right next to the eye wash station is a tan, boxy looking device that goes from the floor to the ceiling. That's called a fume hood. The purpose of a fume hood is to basically run experiments inside of it, and it's designed to draw air away from the person running the experiment, so you can breathe in separate air than what the experiment is running under. It basically allows us to do experiments where breathing in the fumes would be dangerous. So that's what the fume hood is for. It also provides a safety shield for experiments that have a potential of explosion, where we can do it inside there, and the safety shield will protect us from that. There is an emergency gas shut-off button in the front of the room as you exit the main exit or entrance. This button is red, and if you push it, it kills the gas to everything in the room. So we use that if we have to turn the gas off quickly. There's also a green button in the front of the room by the phone. That green button turns on our exhaust fans. It doesn't exhaust the room immediately, but it does turn on some fans that then start drawing air into the room and expelling the air above the lab benches. So these fans are usually run during lab days to help turn over the air better in our room. The material safety data sheet binder, this is located next to the chemical storeroom. It's a red binder with white or yellow lettering on it, and it provides all the safety information for anything that you will be working with in class. It is free for you guys to look through if you want to. It is open for you guys to check out any of the safety issues you may have with our chemicals that we're working with. We've already mentioned the phone. We know where that's located. The spill control kit is located right next to the fume hood and the eye wash safety station. The spill kit is actually located next to the material safety binder next to the storage room. That has some different chemicals in it that are used to help clean up acid spills, base spills, or other corrosive spills. The broken glass container and dustpan, they are located next to the eye wash station. We use these if we break anything in glassware. Make sure that we put all broken glassware into the container and not the normal garbage. It's just safer for our custodians. And then we have a couple different sinks in back that are bigger than the rest of them and have soap dispensers by those. Please use those 2 sinks for washing your hands at the end of every lab. And finally, last but not least, is our goggle storage cabinet. Please keep that organized. They're the white cabinets on the side wall with the green lettering on them. They're designed to basically hold the goggles when they're not being used. They also have UV lighting in them. So when we get done using them, I turn them on and blast them with UV light for 15 minutes, which then kills anything on the glasses, so then the next hour can use them. So we need to store them properly so the UV lighting works properly in there. All right, guys, that's a real quick deal with the lab safety. When you're done with this video, if you did not get it in class, we need to have you to log into the collaboration station. If you don't know how to get there, on my Egan webpage, it is one of these quick tabs up here, collaboration station. Click to log in. Log in with your normal username and normal password. Once you've done that, under the beginning of the year, we have some lab safety files. One is this PowerPoint that we just went through. One is that rule sheet I mentioned before. So these are those 20 rules that you are responsible for reading through, understanding what they are. We've talked about most of these in class. The ones that we haven't talked about directly, we will talk about if they pertain to any particular lab that we're working with. And then last thing you want to do is click on the lab safety checklist. And if you have not logged into the Google collaboration, or if you have a secondary Gmail account running on your computer, you might get this window. You can switch your accounts to the Google account and then continue. And you will get this form right here. Basically what this is something that says, here's the day. I know where these things are located. I know what they are. I know I've seen the lab safety video, or you've seen it in class. I know what the rule sheets are. I've had my questions answered. Check these off. Type in your name as a signature, and then submit. Okay, I keep these just so I have record of showing to tell people, yes, I do some lab safety with you guys at the beginning of the year. This is a required assignment, so please get it done by Monday of next week. All right, guys, that's it for lab safety. Thank you.